Did you see that when DB came back and played for us, that they got mad that our fan base was booing her?
I don't believe in booing former players unless they left on like some type shit.
Cunningham blew up a decades-old playbook that's quietly shaped WNBA narratives. What started as a casual podcast riff about Diana Taurasi's messy exit has turned into something much bigger. Now, the old-school media gatekeepers are spiraling. Sophie just proved that players like her, Caitlin Clark, and the Indiana Fever don't need ESPN, The Athletic, or the league's long-protected media favorites to tell their stories. She bypassed every outdated channel, went straight to the fans, and pulled more genuine engagement than most veteran sports reporters get in a year. For an industry built on being the middleman between athletes and the public, that's not just a shakeup, it's an existential crisis.
I like DB because like DB was one of my vets when I was in Phoenix, and then we gathered here into Indiana, and like it was kind of a surprise that she was signed to Indiana anyway, and so we'll take her in a heartbeat. Like, she's a Hall of Famer, she's a hell of a basketball player, can score from anywhere on the court.
Before we break down how Sophie accidentally exposed the cracks in the WNBA's media machine, picture this: a league where players own their narratives. No biased filters, no anti-Clark slant, no manufactured drama to pit teammates against each other. What Sophie just sparked goes way beyond the Bonner saga. This is the opening act of a new era, one that could completely flip the power over who gets to tell the story in women's basketball.
I just think, and you know way better than me, but like, it just feels like people are jealous of this new little wave of.
They are, but I just hate that because like, this is what we've always wanted as a league. So like, who cares who gets the credit? And if you're smart, you're making money off of them.
Yeah.
Like, you are literally making money from the viewership.
And why bully the person who is like not 100% responsible, but like has a huge role in growing your sport?
Dude, and it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
For years, legacy sports media built walls around WNBA coverage, deciding who got airtime and which stories fit the brand. Sophie just proved those walls aren't stone, they're soggy tissue paper. One unfiltered podcast episode exposed just how flimsy the system really is, and why every major sports outlet is now scrambling to lock down player partnerships before they lose control of the narrative. The warning signs were in the numbers. Sophie's following has quietly blown past 1.6 million on TikTok and 1.1 million on Instagram, bigger than the combined reach of many so-called WNBA insiders. She built that audience while ESPN was busy acting like Caitlin Clark's record-breaking nights didn't even happen.
I went from I think like
followers, yeah,
350,000 and like maybe 200,000 on TikTok.
You had 200,000 on TikTok a month ago?
No. I
before the fight.
Before the fight, and then I had like 350 on 100,000 on Instagram. Over the night, or over like a day and a half, over 1 million on both. Insane. This is coming from me though, dude. I got tired of seeing myself.
I get it.
And I love myself.
I get it.
I love myself. I was over it.
Here's where the whole game flips. Sophie didn't build her platform by kissing the old guard's ring. She built it by speaking the language real fans understand. Unapologetic. Competitive. While some players worked overtime to stay wrapped in the media's safe, polished bubble, Sophie went straight to the people and gave them what ESPN's safe for broadcast sound bites never could: authenticity. That's when the power shifted. She didn't leak her intel to a reporter. She didn't hand off quotes for The Athletic. She didn't even tease it on Twitter. She sat down with her Show Me Something co-host and dropped a truth bomb that turned the Bonner controversy upside down. No editors, no spin, no corporate PR script. Just raw, unfiltered truth for anyone who wanted it. In the old days, if a player had inside scoop on locker room chaos or a messy exit, it would trickle to a beat reporter, get sanded down into a carefully sourced piece, and be spoon-fed to the audience on the media's terms. Timing? Controlled. Framing? Controlled. Impact? controlled.
But she got to Indiana and she just like really wasn't happy. And like I want people to be happy. So that's why I'm kind of like neutral on this one, which a lot of people are surprised about. She's towards the end of her career, so like she deserves her flowers. She deserves to be happy. But I also think that if you're gonna leave, like you're gonna have to expect getting booed. Like,
Was there explanation when it happened? No. Not even privately? Yeah, I mean,
that's one
okay.
thing.
That's tough. And, yeah, okay. Well, I did say what? Unless you leave on some you type shit, and that's what that is, so.
Yeah.
Sophie took one look at that old playbook and said, yeah, no. She told the story herself better than any outsider could because she lived it. She had the first-hand credibility, the context, and the platform to drop it without asking for permission. That kind of freedom is exactly what the establishment media doesn't want Caitlin Clark or any Fever player to have. And here's the strategic bombshell most people missed. Sophie's podcast isn't just her in a garage with a mic. It's backed by Colin Cowherd's sports media empire, The Volume. This is the first major crossover between a WNBA player's content and mainstream sports media muscle. They didn't bring her on as charity or as a token nod to women's sports. They signed her because they saw what ESPN refused to: real, player-driven storytelling crushes sterile, politically safe coverage every time. That deal sends a clear message. WNBA stars don't have to stay boxed into a women's sports corner. They can step straight into the mainstream sports arena and connect with a bigger, hungrier audience. One that cares less about protecting the old hierarchy and more about hearing the truth. Sophie's success is a wake-up call for other players. You don't need the middlemen. And that's exactly why the traditional media guard is sweating. Word is, big sports networks are now scrambling to lock WNBA players into their own shows. Because Sophie just proved there's a massive market for unfiltered player content, and fans will pick that over ESPN's corporate-approved narratives every single time.
There's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. Like, we have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league, or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb.
Sophie's breaking the league's Protect the Veterans code. The one that says you never call out the inner circle, never expose the politics, and never give fans a reason to question certain sacred cows. She looked at that unspoken pact and called it what it is: broken. She told the truth about Bonner's messy exit, not because it was easy or safe, but because it was real. And that choice, putting truth over politics, is exactly what new WNBA fans, especially Caitlin Clark's massive following, have been starving for while the old media stayed too scared to touch it.
One of the biggest stars the WNBA's ever
Who's that?
had. Her name rhymes with Schmaitland.
Hurtland?
Yeah. What has that been like, seeing her not only kind of transform a league, but also just be like,
No,
is that fair to say?
not even just the league, but like
The
women's
sport?
basketball as a whole around the
Yeah.
world. No, I think it's awesome. I think it's so funny because she's like 22, 23 years old and the whole world is watching her.
Yeah.
That fiery defense of Caitlin Clark? That was Sophie Cunningham speaking directly to the very fans the old WNBA media machine has been alienating for months. While legacy journalists wrapped Clark's story in cautious, she just needs time, narratives, and hollow calls for balance, Sophie flat out called the Clark critics dumb as hell, and she meant every word. That wasn't just authentic, it was a calculated masterstroke. She zeroed in on the league's fastest growing, most passionate fan base, Clark's, and spoke their language, not the stale jargon of the media establishment. She chose expansion over exclusion, and her engagement numbers.
You have seen players in our league try to like toughen up Caitlin. We call her CC. For even when I wasn't on her team, like I know the talks that Phoenix had in the locker room of like, no, we're gonna prove her, we're gonna show her what the W really is. You know what I mean? And like I get it to a certain extent, and like every rookie coming into the league, that's how you're gonna treat them. But
Right.
there's just more.